Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018 caucus meeting for the City of Brook Park. Michelle, please call the roll.
Scott?
Here.
Dershio?
Here.
Orcutt?
Here.
Stem?
Here.
Mancini?
Here.
Poindexter?
Here.
Salvatore?
Here.
If everyone would please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving to item 3 under discussion. The first item is the Little Free Pantry. Councilman Scott, per Council President Vecchio.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to bring this back up again because there was issues. People want to know if there was, before we move forward on this, if there was any possibility of any legal ramification or not. And I talked to Carol, and Carol, their law director, will give you a quick synopsis, if it's okay.
Madam Law Director, go ahead, please.
Through the chair to Councilman Scott, yes, I think we're safe, quite safe in going forward with the little pantry. I think the federal law would protect us from any issues or liability arising from if someone took an item out of the pantry and it turned out to be spoiled. I think that we're on good grounds from a liability standpoint, and I think this is a great idea. I know one of the things we want to do in the city of Brook Park is to attract young families, and this would be something maybe that would be a little bit of a safety net for them. I mean, we all remember sometimes how difficult it is. You get that medical bill in, and you're trying to juggle your bills, and you're going to buy diapers and other items. And I think this would be very, very helpful to the city, and its benefits certainly would outweigh any minimal liability that would ever occur. Certainly for that reason, I would be more than happy to pledge some funds to this endeavor, and would challenge anyone in the city also to go ahead and even if it's only $1, donate to this, because I think it's a very good way of supporting our city, and it's a worthy cause. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, you got something? We had, we picked out the location over by the police station, right? That's still good to go?
Yes.
Mr. Salvatore.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Carol, would you be kind enough to provide that opinion in writing, just so that we know that we're protected? And if the mayor's picked the site out, Rich has done all the legwork, I just make a motion that this was discussed.
Can I make one before we make?
Pardon?
Can I make one comment real quick before we leave?
Sure.
If council doesn't mind, I'd like them to throw in like $25 to help offset the cost. It's around $250, $300 for this gentleman to build the little pantry. So I'm asking if everybody would just, if council would be willing to throw in $25, and then I'll cover the difference.
Is this a councilman challenge, or?
Yeah.
Members of
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'm a little disappointed because most of us talked about giving 50, and now you want to cut it to 25. Are you
guys
putting that in the form of a motion?
You guys, I'll give 50. I'll be more than happy to do that.
Mr. Poindexter, you had something?
No, I don't have anything.
All right.
He was
so-
going to bring up the
so the-
$50 too, I think.
So the challenge is thrown out by Councilman Scott for members of council. Members of council, with a show of hands, who would like to be part of the donation process to this? Everyone? Mayor also?
Directors?
Mr.
Audience?
Mr. Mancini has commented that he will cover all of our expenses. He said that under his breath, I heard it.
I appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I have on that, sir.
Madam Law Director?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly would provide an opinion this week to council, and I'll be glad to kick in 50 also to help this worthy cause.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on discussion of this?
Here comes Mr. Moneybags now.
There was a, Mr. Mancini, you have a question, I see it.
No, I don't. I was just questioning whether it was 50 or 25, and you guys know me, all the money but tight, so I figured 25. So, but seeing how it's a great cause, if I have to go 50, I'll borrow another 25 from Councilman Orcutt.
There's some motion on the floor that this was discussed.
Support?
Support.
Motion properly supported. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Michelle, please call the roll.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Perigio,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
motion carried.
Motion carries. Item number 2, a resolution accepting the recommendations and approving the minutes of the Housing Council on the City of Brook Park's Community Reinvestment Area, CRA in parentheses, agreements and declaring an emergency, introduced by Mayor Gamella per Council President Vecchio. Mayor, would you like to speak on this?
Yes, thank you. We had our meeting last week, and I have our Economic Development Director, Scott Adams. He'll come to the microphone and answer any questions council may have. Mr. Chairman, if that's all right with you.
Mr. Adams, please come to the podium. State your name and your work address for us, please.
Good evening, Council. My name is Scott Adams, Economic Development Commissioner, work address 6161 Engle Road, Brook Park, Ohio. Council, this is a yearly practice that takes place when you review the City of Brook Park's Community Reinvestment Area, otherwise known as CRA 15. This is your abatement program, and the properties that are currently involved with abatements have to be reviewed by the building department to see if there's any violations and if they're still occupied to stay inside the program. This program is administered not only through our city, but has to be reported to the Ohio Department of Development. I'm happy to say that all 6 of the properties that were inspected are all occupied, and there was no violations found. So they're still candidates in the abatement program. So what I'm asking council through the mayor to do this evening is review this, to pass this resolution, because the next step involves a report that I have to submit to the Department of Development on behalf of the city, along with a copy of the certified resolution passage. Any questions?
Mr. Salvatore.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair to Mr. Adams. We passed this last year, right around April. There seems to be only one change that appears from last year to this year. Is there anything else that you could bring up or enlighten council on other than the one change?
No, that's it. It's a continuing program. Some of the properties in it are going for 10 years, some are going for 15. The commercial properties are 15, and the residential ones are 10 years.
Because the one we passed last year had everything, it's an identical piece of legislation except for the adding of 5340 West 161st Street, but you inspected that property as well as looked over the conditions, the terms and conditions?
Yes, if you look through to the 3rd page back, you'll see a annual inspection report from the building department. You'll see it's on there. It's the E.L. Musty and Sons expansion that was taking place, and abatement was given to them by council.
Do you know when these inspections were made? There's no date.
These inspections were made approximately in February, late February.
Okay, that's all I have. If there's no other questions, I'd make a motion to put on tonight's council agenda for approval.
Support.
Motion to put on tonight's council agenda under verbal approval, properly supported.
Not under verbal approval. It's a piece of
Oh,
legislation.
I'm sorry, under item K. Under items K for approval. Michelle, please call the roll on approval.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Perigio,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion is approved.
Thank you,
On
council.
tonight's council meeting. Moving on to item 4, Safety Committee.
You have a number on it?
Oh, I'm sorry, that one is 12-2018 is the resolution. Moving on to item number 4, Safety Committee Chairman Stem.
Thank you, Council President. A resolution supporting the Cuyahoga County Board of Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services in the City of Cleveland and declaring opiate overdose deaths in Cuyahoga County as a public emergency, and requesting additional funding from the state and federal governments to address this issue and declaring an emergency. Introduced by Mayor Gamilla. I'd like to open this up for discussion.
Mr. Mencini?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe this is a no-brainer. I know other cities are doing it. I'm hoping that we kind of definitely follow in that path. I know, as with other things that have been brought before this council, the opioid crisis has affected each one of us also. Like the rest of them, it's another another disease, as I would call it, that I'd like to see stop now. So hopefully this council makes the appropriate measures today to do what we have to get this completed as soon as we can and follow other municipalities. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Salvador?
thank you. Through the chair to the mayor. Mayor, would you consider any co-sponsorships on this?
Absolutely. I would love all the co-sponsors we can get on it. Thank you, Rick.
All those wishing to co-sponsor? It's
If I
council.
could, if I could continue, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make
Sure.
a motion to place this on tonight's council agenda and move forward as quickly as possible on this.
Support.
I still have some more discussion on that. I'd have my hand up. I had some other items of discussion which we just brought forward tonight with that, seeing that a lot of our surrounding cities are acting on some of this stuff. It seems like, as we all know, this is widespread and as it says, an epidemic, which is nationwide. We need, as a city, we need to get behind any of this stuff to try and curb and keep our citizens healthy. I'm all for anything that we can do as a council, as a city, and as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. We have Councilman Scott.
Yes, just to carry on a little bit on this. This is a public awareness that the Brook Park Neighborhood Watch, Oakview Mental Health, and I'm going to get council involved in this. We're planning on having a mental health awareness forum for the community on May 17th, and it's going to be addressing the issues mental health and how it applies to the opioid and all other chemical dependencies. So I'm just putting that out there real quick right now. We're still working on it. I will give council probably next week more in-depth about what's happening, but I want council to be included in it. Last year, we put on two outstanding programs, and this is just a carry through. And we, like I said, we want to keep the community informed about what's going on. So just a little heads up, May 17th, we're planning on a community forum for the Mental Health Awareness Month and the tie-in from mental health into the opioid and chemical addiction problems. So, like I said, I will keep council informed once we have our meeting this week, and I'll get back to let everybody know what's going on. That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
So,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Councilman Scott, I'm glad you brought that up this evening because, as you're aware, I'm working with Southwest General. We're trying to do a community project, and that was one of the projects that was on the table with Southwest to do something in regards to this issue. So I'm glad you told me, so maybe we'll either look at something else or maybe I'd rather not tie the Southwest presentation or project in with the Neighborhood Watch. I'd rather maybe we do it twice. But you sure you're positive on the May 17th date?
Mm-hmm.
And where are you planning on having that?
It's the venue at the rec center. It's either going to be in the community room or the mini gym. I've got verification on that already, and like I said, we've got Oakview already. Just to get you a little heads up, I got Oakview, Diane Levi, and Mike Wagoner. They're going to come in and make a presentation. I've got Judge Margaret Nancy Russo, who has committed, and she's going to give a little presentation about the judicial system and how it applies to that. And then we're going to have Officer Kaz and Tom Sensel give the city's point of view and what programs are out there. But like I said, we're going to finalize the format probably this week, hopefully.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Scott, I'm wondering if possibly one of our fire medics we could possibly get there also for their explanation of what they see. I wonder if that's viable for that.
The issue is we're construed on time. We don't want to extend it, and let's put it this way, the more cooks in the kitchen, the more it gets a little confused. So, like I said, we've got Officer Kozlowski and Officer Sensel coming in to give the city's perspective on it.
Great.
Any further discussion? We have a motion properly supported for tonight's council meeting. Michelle, will you please call the roll? I'm sorry.
She was looking to see who supported.
Rick and me.
Okay. Salvatore,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Vergil,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Motion
Motion
is approved.
passes. It'll be on.
Resolution number 13-2018.
13-2018.
Seeing no other business.
Council President,
Mr. Scott.
I'd like to make a motion to pull the independent investigators report that's placed in the Finance Committee. It was replaced there October 10th of 2017. I'd like to pull it out of my committee to put final closure on this item and put it behind us. So I would like a motion to pull the independent investigators report from my committee if possible.
Support.
Motion on the floor to pull the investigators report from the Finance Committee, properly supported, to go on tonight's council meeting. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Michelle, please call the roll.
Scott,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Vergil,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Salvatore.
Yes.
Motion is approved. That will show under letter K, miscellaneous business.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. That's all I got.
Is that for this agenda? This for
Yes.
now, right?
Yes, for moving it to tonight.
On the caucus right now.
It's on caucus. We're going to pull it and put it on letter K.
Mayor Kamala?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Council, I was wondering if on the main agenda tonight, the regular council meeting, if we would move item G, Miss Poppy, up to right after item C, before reports of standing committees.
We'll take that motion as soon as we start the meeting for council.
Sure, yeah, I think. yes.
Thank you.
That will work. All right. Anything else, gentlemen? Seeing nothing else, take a motion to adjourn the caucus meeting.
Motion so made.
Support.
Support.
Motion to adjourn, properly supported. Michelle, please call the roll.
Mancini,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Vergil,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Stem,
Yes.
Caucus meeting is now adjourned at 7:20.